Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us. Thanks so much for spending part of your day, part of your evening with us. We truly appreciate it. The big story of the day, the Diddy case. We finally have a verdict. We're going to get to that. So much more to talk about. New data shows that assault on ICE officers is up 700% since the radical Dems have gone after these ICE officers who are just simply doing their job. The Democrats are launching a new project. It's called Project 2029. I thought they were so against President Trump or his alleged association with Project 2025. CBS settling a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with President Trump. So much to talk to. Record revenues with tariffs coming in. And Dr. Fauci may be in a little bit of trouble. RFK Jr.'s got some words for him. We're going to bring that to you. So much more to talk about. Stephen Miller going back at Elon Musk. We got it all for you, but let's start with the story of the day. Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, former rapper, disgraced rapper, I should say, found not guilty on counts 1, 2, and 4. He was charged with 5 counts. The first count, which he was found innocent on, was racketeering. In my opinion, should have never been brought in the first place. An absolutely absurd charge. I'm not justifying Diddy by any stretch of the imagination. The man is grotesque and disgusting. But racketeering had nothing to do with what Diddy was doing. RICO came from a 1970s organized crime control bill that was signed in by Richard Nixon. That was to get organized crime under control. The mobs, the gangsters. It was to rein them in. It was to bring in associates of head honchos and get them to flip on the heads of the mobs or these organized crime families or gangsters or whatever you want to call them. That's not what Diddy was doing. He was running these prostitution type freak off things, transporting drugs. He wasn't doing organized crime. He wasn't doing anything with the RICO Act, which is why it was such a massive waste of time. And I think the prosecutors in the Southern District probably knew that. This might have been part of their ploy to help Diddy out a little bit. Now, some of you may know, but the woman leading this case, I believe it was a full slate of female prosecutors going against Diddy. But the head honcho for it was a woman by the name of Maureen Comey. Last name spelled Comey. Now, you're probably wondering, is there a relation to that one James Comey, former FBI director? Well, yeah, it's his daughter. Same prosecutor in the Southern District of New York who headed up the case against Ghislaine Maxwell as well. Ghislaine will be out of jail one day. She's not seeing a life sentence. She'll be out one day, serving a decent sentence, but not a lifelong sentence. So Maureen Comey, not guilty on racketeering, the first charge. Second charge and the fourth charge are both the same, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Found innocent on all of those charges. Found guilty on counts 3 and 5, which is transportation and engagement of prostitution, which came from testimony from 2 victims, one of them being his ex-girlfriend, Cassie, also an artist at the time as well. So that's counts 3 and 5, which he's found guilty on. Those carry a 10-year maximum sentence on each. So right now he's looking at a maximum, which is probably will not what it will be, a maximum of 20 years. Now, Diddy's attorneys have asked that Diddy be allowed out while he awaits sentencing, offering to post as much bail as they want. Now, the appeals judge, where this case will go next, because Diddy's lawyers are almost guaranteed to look at appeal, is now weighing the options. If he didn't think Diddy had a chance on appeal, I don't think he'd be weighing possibly letting Diddy out on bail. So it's sort of interesting. Maureen Comey, did she throw the case? Why is she still in the Southern District of New York? What is she doing there? I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, but this is certainly not a good day for the prosecutors. When you go from life behind bars to down to looking at a maximum of 20 years, a federal time, so you do 80%. So not even a full 20 years. And that's if the judge grants the full 20 years, which is probably unlikely. So if the judge grants 10 or 15 years, what's he really looking at? 8 years with good behavior and the possibility of winning an appeal. So not a good day for these prosecutors, Maureen Comey. But what do you expect? The daughter of James Comey. Stephen Miller in the news lately. Elon Musk also. Elon Musk can't seem to contain himself, his anger, his hatred for Donald Trump all of a sudden, and the Republicans. Stephen Miller last night on Laura Ingraham going back at Elon Musk and his dismay for the big, beautiful bill that is bound to get passed by the House any day now, any moment now. We're just waiting for them to do some procedural stuff, but it's expected either later tonight, tomorrow at the latest for passage. Here's Stephen Miller with a little rebuttal to Elon Musk.
Campaign for fiscal restraint, yet voted for the big, beautiful bill. He is furious for a lot of reasons, but mostly citing the failure to rein in costs and spending. Your reaction to this tonight?
Well, this is the largest spending cut, Laura, in American history. Think about what's in this bill. The largest tax cut and reform in American history. The largest spending cut in American history. The largest welfare reform in American history. The largest reduction in federal spending ever achieved in a single bill. And then it also includes the most robust, comprehensive border security and immigration enforcement package we've ever seen. One that will allow us to deport millions upon millions of invaders. To oppose this bill is to support the invasion. To oppose this bill is to support the continued giveaways and freebies to cheaters and scam artists. To oppose this bill is to support a 68% tax hike on the American public. And it's also to oppose this bill is to support a deprivation of all of the tax benefits that President Trump is fighting to deliver the middle class, like no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. The Senate passed this bill just today, demonstrating that they are fighting for President Trump. They are fighting for his agenda. They are not going to listen to an outside voice that does not represent the interests of the American people or the interests of the Republican Party. And the House is going to rally behind President Trump to pass this bill for America.
He's absolutely right. Elon Musk has got to get his act together and get back on his meds or whatever he's on. He's acting a fool, and I think the people who, the large shareholders of Tesla, are going to start to get tired of it. They're going to start losing more money because this man is acting like a fool because of his hatred for whatever. It's really unclear what his deal is. Coupled with that, new data analysis shows that attacks on ICE agents are up a whopping 700% since these Marxist Dems and illegals are holding these riots all across America. 700%. Thanks to the Marxists and the people, the mayors and the Democrat governors, the Karen Basses, the Gavin Newsoms, who are allowing these people to take over our streets and cities like they did in Los Angeles, which forced Donald Trump to send in the National Guard and the Marines. And we saw how fast that dissipated, and they started to act a little bit more orderly. But up 700%. That's a disgusting, disgusting thing. And the Democrats should be ashamed of themselves, looking to launch apps to let people know where ICE agents are. You have Democrats calling for ICE agents to take off their masks, to let these people see their faces so they can try to go kill their families. I thought the Democrats were for masks. Remember during COVID, you had to wear a mask to go to the bathroom? If you wanted to see your loved ones, you had to wear a mask or stay 6 feet away? Now all of a sudden, they're not in favor of masks? Which one is it, you Marxist Dems? You guys all remember Project 2025, the alleged Project 2025, which the Democrats said, they swore that Donald Trump was a part of, and it was all part of Donald Trump's radical agenda and this and that. Well, the Marxist Dems are back, and of course, no original thought of their own. They've got an idea. Notice I said no original thought of their own. They're looking at launching something called Project 2029. It's where they'll unveil their radical agenda on what they want to do to America moving forward. Sort of oxymoron. Democrats berated the Republicans. Whatever think tanks were involved with this Project 2025 berated them. berated President Trump for his association with them. And now all of a sudden they've got a change of mind and they want in on this Project 2025. It's the Marxist Dems for you. Truth, justice, and the American way. We saw it a little bit today. Yeah, rhymed a little bit. Donald Trump settling a lawsuit with CBS and Paramount over that edited 60-minute interview. Remember Kamala Harris? She did an interview on 60 Minutes where she said one answer. They paused, they chopped it up, and made it sound completely coherent, even though you couldn't really tell a difference between when she spoke and Joe Biden spoke. As for the readouts of it, neither of them made a lick of sense. So Donald Trump sued them for $20 billion because of their deception to the American people, for their lying to the American people, and looking to steal an election, quite honestly, if you ask me. Why else would you edit content that has to do with a candidate before an election? So Donald Trump settling this afternoon, $16 million being paid by CBS and Paramount in that beautiful, beautiful lawsuit. Once these people start getting held accountable, and now this is just one of many that Donald Trump has settled for millions of dollars, maybe these people will start being held accountable for their actions and realize that words have consequences. And when you lie to the American people, you ain't going to get away with it. Turning now to some tariffs. The United States has brought in a whopping $121 billion in tariffs so far this fiscal year. And they're on pace to close out what we just closed out in June for another $27 billion. $27 billion in 1 month. That'll be a new record for the month of June once those numbers come in. So what's Jerome Powell doing? Is Jerome Powell going to cut some rates and let this economy prosper? Whereas almost every country in Europe has favorable rates to America? Or is he going to continue to crush and continue to try to hold down the American economy? Which one is it? Because I know if Kamala Harris were in office right now, he'd be running to cut rates, just as he did months before the election, to try to make it look like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden had this thing under control when we all know they didn't, which is why they were so resoundingly lost the 2024 election. The popular vote, the Electoral College, they lost it all. But you and I know that because we're here smiling about it today. So which one is it, Jerome Powell? You're going to cut the rates, or you're going to continue to allow America not to be competitive on the world stage as it comes to lending and borrowing money? Speaking of money, President Trump announcing this afternoon that he has made a trade deal with Vietnam, one of our biggest trade partners over in Asia. President Trump says details are to follow. So he's now got the big ones, China, and he's got Vietnam, Canada. We'll have to wait for them to come back to the table. They're acting a little foolish right now, too, but also working on some deals over in Europe, working on the peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. You have the Gaza, Israel 60-day ceasefire, where they're going to work out a final plan to have a permanent ceasefire there. Iran and Israel have a ceasefire there as well. Everything is going very smooth and good pace right now, in my opinion. July 4th, just a few days away, 2 days away. President Trump is going to be kicking off the 250th year anniversary of America alongside our good friend Lee Greenwood, who's going to be our guest here in just a few moments. He's going to tell us all about it. He's going to be joining President Trump in Iowa for that, for the kickoff of it. But a big celebration, as Donald Trump is the most patriotic president, in my opinion, we've ever had. Before we get to Lee, I want to turn to RFK Jr. and some news, perhaps some news that he has broken on a recent interview with Tucker Carlson just released yesterday, where RFK Jr. believes that Dr. Anthony Fauci may have some criminal activity, criminal behavior as it pertained to COVID. Take a listen.
He got immunity. Why did he need immunity? Well, why did he need a pardon in advance?
What do you think the answer is?
I would be speculating, but I think he was vulnerable. I think he had a lot of liability on creating the coronavirus. He was funding precisely that research at the Wuhan lab.
Yep.
And he was giving them the technology. He was giving them, he gave them not only the technology, the precise technology for developing that pathogen.
Very interesting. But of course, Joe Biden, or at least the AutoPen, gave him some sort of immunity that he now has, which I believe Donald Trump and his administration are looking into. As a matter of fact, RFK Jr. may possibly have an idea. The Truth Commission.
So it sounds like Fauci is beyond the reach of the law at this point.
Yeah. I think generally, unless there was a Truth Commission, which they did, as you know, in South Africa,
yes.
They did it in Central America after the 1980s wars there, and they were very, very helpful to those societies. And, I think we should probably do something like that now. And in those cases, what happens is you have a commission that hears testimony on what exactly happened. Anybody who comes and volunteers to testify truthfully is then given immunity from prosecution. But so that at least the public knows who did what.
Yes.
And people who are called and don't take that deal and purge themselves, they then can be prosecuted criminally.
Americans have a right to know. We all suffered. Some people went through hell and back during COVID. We all have a right to know what took place and what happened. Who's responsible for it all? Who's responsible for leaking it? Who's responsible for creating it? Who's responsible for funding it? Was the U.S. government funding it? Did the U.S. government create it? These are all questions that I think Americans have deserved answers to. And not just Americans, millions around the world who lost their lives because of the China virus. What role did Fauci play, and why was Fauci given such immunity? Immunity is given to people who have committed some sort of crimes. At least that's what we're told. People who have something to worry about. Why was he pardoned? If Fauci did nothing wrong, he wouldn't have needed that. He wouldn't have needed immunity. A preemptive pardon? He wasn't a target of anybody. You look at some of the people that Donald Trump had to pardon, it's because they were targets of the Marxist left. When Donald Trump left office in 2021, January, you saw what the Marxist Dems did to him. You saw what they did to his people. They tried to make their lives hell. That's a different case. The Republicans were only going to go after Fauci to find out what exactly happened, which, as I said, we all deserve answers to as Americans. Over 1 million Americans dead, millions globally, and still to this day, Anthony Fauci walks the streets, chin held high, millions of dollars richer in his bank account, all from COVID-19. Hasn't paid any sort of repercussions, hasn't had to answer questions to anybody. Still just a free man. And so many people have suffered, died, kids' lives ruined, kids taken out of school. Kids not allowed to have childhoods because of this evil, evil man. I like to call him the witch doctor. So I think it's time for answers, whether it be RFK Jr., whether it be President Trump, whether it be a Senate committee, a House committee. Someone has got to get to the bottom of this. Someone has got to get answers to what Anthony Fauci knew, how long he knew it, and what he was funding. As I said, folks, our guest today is the great American, Lee Greenwood, a patriot. He's going to be joined by President Trump. He's joining President Trump tomorrow at the Iowa State Fair to kick off the 250th anniversary of America. He joins us just after this quick break. Stay with us.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Lee, as always, it's a delight to have you. I appreciate you coming back on. Very timely appearance for you here. We're sitting here Wednesday, July 2nd. Tomorrow, you're heading to Iowa with President Trump to kick off the America 250 event. Tell us a little bit about it.
I'm excited to be there with the president again. I've sang many times for him, of course, all the way back to 2016, and his appointment to me as a trustee for the Kennedy Center. Getting firsthand and close to him enough to have casual conversation is astounding for a farmer from California. And so, yeah, we'll be in Iowa, the heartland of America, at the State Fair. And it's going to be a great kickoff because everybody's talking about the 250 for America, but that's next year. So we have a whole year to do this. And so the kickoff tomorrow would be exciting, but I think pretty climatic because we're focusing on next year, aren't we? And then, of course, July 3rd, and then the July 4th appearance there in Washington, D.C. for the president and the flyover with the B-2 that dropped bombs in Iran. You know, so we're all about really current news, and yet we're focusing on next year already.
Now you'll be in DC with the president as well on the 4th.
I'm not sure whether I will or not. That'll be up to the president, but I will be there tomorrow.
Good chance, Lee. I think there's probably a good chance that any sort of patriotic event there is, Lee Greenwood is by the president. I say this to everyone. I saw you in MSG back when President Trump was just the candidate. And it's like everywhere he goes, he doesn't care. It's Lee Greenwood's got to be there if it's some sort of patriotic event. So I think that's probably a great honor for you, and it's a great honor for this country to have you there. Last time we spoke, Lee, you had just come out with a new version of God Bless the USA, the rock version. And what you said to me was you've charted everywhere, but you want to chart on the rock charts. I think your dream came true. Isn't that correct?
We did, and we went #1 immediately. A friend of mine named Drew Jacobs from Detroit. We got a couple of friends from Detroit. Kid Rock's from Detroit. We just opened a new nightclub called Detroit Cowboy down in Nashville. So, yeah, it was a pretty cool recording. I kind of liked it. My kids liked it, too, because I was hesitant. I don't like to change how I wrote that song, which was in 1983. So you go way back. Song of the Year in 1985 in Nashville, the country music community. The military loves it, and they know what it represents for the people. The citizens of America like it for unity and all that has happened and transpired in those past 40 years. But the new rock version, it kind of felt good. It was like up to date. And my kids are 30 and 26. They said, "Dad, we love this." I was like, okay, cool.
I play it everywhere I go, regardless of if I'm at a party or if I'm out on my boat, I jam it up because I love it. So before we got on here, I said, Lee, facetiously, I said, Lee, I can't understand why the Democrats hate America so much. We saw what happened with President Trump's birthday extravaganza in D.C. for the birthday for the U.S. Army as well. They went absolutely crazy. They're going crazy about a parade in D.C. now for the military. And you simply said to me, they don't hate the country. They hate Donald Trump. Explain, please.
I really believe that's true. Of course, we know that the president stands for the people. He got the popular vote. And he's the kind of guy, remember back in his first term as president and the 45th president of the United States, he said, "I'm going to drain the swamp." And, actually what we've done is unify the swamp. Yeah. Actually, the people who are still there believe in what Trump is doing. And, of course, now the Senate has passed that bill, moved on to the House. I think the House will probably pass the bill. The president will have what he wants on July 4th and be able to sign that bill into legislation. And then we are moving forward. And as he said, America is really going to prosper for this. And I thought there's so much confusion thrown at us from the left. But it's time to be, once again, proud of our country. I'm proud of who we are as Americans.
When you wrote this song back in the early 80s, I'm sure never did you think it would become so political. And I'm not saying you made it political. I'm saying it made it political sort of between the left and the right divide. Donald Trump plays the song, so therefore the Democrats must hate it. They must hate Lee Greenwood. It's part of their equation that they can't like it because Donald Trump likes it. Meanwhile, you hear it now. Anytime Donald Trump is at a military base, anytime he's at a military installation, anytime he's around our troops. And Lee, every single time I hear the song queued up, it gives me the chills.
I have to say, just because my association with the president has dropped me an awful lot of attention, I really don't get hatred from the Democrats. I think I'm so positive about America's unity and that I stand for the military. Maybe I just bring a fresh picture to what the president wants to present for the rest of the people of America. And that makes me very proud that I can serve that as an ambassador for this country, if you will. And speaking of that, I will probably end up going to Israel at the request of Ambassador Huckabee, who is now in place in Jerusalem, for a celebration of America soon. It was going to be in July, but we're going to postpone that, I think, till September. So that's going to make me proud too. So kind of an ambassador for the country. I love it.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's excellent. President Trump also appointing you back now to the Kennedy Center board. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm now a trustee again with 32 other people who are going to attempt to make the Kennedy Center once again the most prestige performance venue in the United States, which it started out that way, and it just kind of went awry, and they started having strange performances there. I think they put the building under disrepair, and that's kind of disappointing because I had a walk through with the president, and we saw exactly what needs to be fixed, and that's going to be fixed. And of course, with the opening of Les Mis, you can see the kind of entertainment is going to be more family oriented and the way people can come and visit once again in this beautiful venue. And it's one of the most beautiful in the country.
Do you think that hatred for Donald Trump, it seems that America's lost, at least my opinion, a sense of patriotism that I think we've always had. And it breaks my heart to know that because we all know what this country's went through. We all know what the men and women who fight for this country every day go through. We know the history of the country. We know what happened on July 4th. Do you think the country, geared by a certain person or party, has geared towards less patriotism and less respect for this country? We see American flags being burned all over the country with these stupid riots. Do you feel that way, or is that just me?
I hate to say it's just you, John, but I will say this: everywhere I go, I see American flags flying. I feel the positive influence of our president on the American people. Not that he's going to win over a lot of people who may not like him or don't like what he stands for or who he is as a person. You cannot dislike what he's doing for America. And so I do feel a more positive influence of patriotism. You may not see it. I know that media focuses on the very small things sometimes. Yeah. And when somebody gets murdered, it naturally takes precedence over everything else. I understand that. But I just don't want to have our view of America changed just by biased media and every other media except yours.
No, you're right. You're probably right. It's because I see things in the granular and I have to deal with it. You, fortunately, are able to sit there and tune out as much news as you possibly could throughout the day. I, unfortunately, have to be embedded in it. And it literally kills me, Lee, to see someone burning the American flag, because I think to myself, if this country is so bad for you, if you hate this country so much, it's so easy, Lee, to get up and just go wherever you think you're going to be more free. We're not holding you captive here. As a matter of fact, Lee, there's a line at the door to get into this place, not a line to get out.
let's just live our life. Let's live our life as free Americans. Be positive. You know, I know this 4th of July, people are going to look for a vacation spot. Go find your best spot. You know, go get a boat, get on the lake, drive somewhere because flying may be too expensive. You know, take your family out. Make this a time when you can get together and celebrate America. Grill in the backyard, put up a flag, play some football, whatever. You know, have a great time.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
So what's your vision, Lee? What's your vision now for America as we celebrate this amazing day in America? What's your view for America? What's your message for America?
We view Thanksgiving, the holiday, as a time when we get family together. But we can do that to July 4th. We can do that Veterans Day. I wrote the song, God Bless the USA, and I put a line in it called, I'm proud to be an American. The reason I said that is my father, who joined the Navy right after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, I didn't know him until I was 17 years old, 4 years in the Navy, 2 years in the Merchant Marine. My mother struggled to keep me and my sister alive, so we were raised on a farm in Sacramento, the capital of California, and boy, things have changed there. But I do realize that I've been given a gift and I've been given a chance to move forward with my life and with American life. And I've lived a long time, believe me, John, and I've seen a lot of turmoil. But when I released the God Bless the USA Bible, which has the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and also my handwritten version of my song, God Bless USA, which stands for that. We have a brand new one that just came out. This is the patriotic edition. And I'm going to read the very front of it. We are one people united by a common destiny and a sharp purpose, a shared purpose to love our one another and United States of America. You got to love the country. Don't talk about how bad it is. You go somewhere else, you'll find how good this country really is.
And they can go to GodBlessTheUSABible.com. Is that right?
That's it. GodBlessUSABible.com or my own site, LeeGreenwood.com. You'll find a tab that'll send you here. The new patriotic version is fantastic.
We're going to go ahead after the show. We're going to go ahead and order some copies for us over here. So do you think, Lee, once Donald Trump, unfortunately, I fathom with this every day that eventually he's going to have to leave office. And it kills me to think about it, but it's just the way the country works, right? It's just the way the founders wrote it. What do you think happens after Donald Trump leaves? Do you think this country takes a turn for the worse? Do you think we continue on this golden road that Donald Trump has started to pave for the country?
I think if everybody prospers, it doesn't matter who's president. And I think maybe that was the focus for 41 when he lost his election. And although he was a hero for putting together the Gulf War, he didn't focus on the economy, and that lost him the election. As long as everybody has money in their pocket, gas prices are not so terribly high. And I was recently in Qatar with the president. I sang there as well for the emir at the palace. And when you look around at the opulence, which is only because they have oil, we have oil as well, and we should be a powerful nation like all of those other nations who have oil, because we got plenty of it. So when people's talking about bringing oil back, yes, we need to do that to once again get wealthy, have the nation be well and prosper, and that will make everybody else in this country prosper. And they'll go, oh, it doesn't matter who's president as long as I'm doing well as a citizen of America. God bless the country, and God bless those people who are struggling to find a job or find how to put their lives together. It's going to get better. Trust the president. Yes,
you're absolutely right. It always gets better. Can you tell us, you spent a lot of time with President Trump. I've had the honor and privilege to spend a decent amount of time with him as well, both in public, both in private. Tell the audience what the general public doesn't see about this. I've told so many stories, Lee, about the man he is, about the person he is, but the Donald Trump you get behind the scenes.
I am amazed as his ability to move from venue to venue, interview to interview, press conference to press conference, and still have the ability to show up at the Kennedy Center, to do something special for a veteran, to go and talk to some school kids. Yeah, when you have a chance to speak to the president for just a moment, it seems like he just got out of bed. He's as fresh as he needs to be all day long, and probably only slept 3 hours. I don't know how he does it. He's an energizer bunny, but I think he's so focused. When I asked him, we were actually in Qatar, and he was sitting next to the emir. We had a moment of conversation, and I said, "Are you doing okay?" He said, "I love this." He said, "It's what I was cut out to do." And so I'm like, okay, I'm on your team.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And like you said, things don't get better. Seeing him in person, he's the same person you see out on the stage, a very genuine person. He listens to everybody, listens to everyone has to say, speaks to everybody, and doesn't think he's better. So that's why I hate, seeing how they treat this man in the press, knowing darn well that the person he is behind closed doors is a better person or same or better person, than he is out in the public. And I don't think he gets a fair shot out in the media of genuinely who he really is, Lee.
John, I don't mind the negative press. That's their job. If we were all positive in one direction, you wouldn't have any competition in the media. I think you need that. And that's kind of the first lesson, I think, of literary giants is they have to have positive and negative in order to have a point of view. I'm okay with that. I just want fact. I don't want misleading news, fake news, as the president had called it. And it's very obvious in a lot of the places now. A lot of people have been called out for it, and thank goodness. And it'll continue because people thrive from that. Hackers thrive from that. You've seen the emails that come in now that are crazy. I get one every 15 minutes that somebody says, well, your network is, your Netflix, it needs to be reestablished. Click on here and we'll show you how to do that. I get that stuff. Are you kidding me? It's like, so the fake news is what bothers me. So if you're going to be negative, that's fine. If you don't like Mr. Trump, President Trump, that's fine. But just tell the truth. That's all.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And case in point in what you're saying, Lee, earlier this morning, while I was still sleeping, apparently there was a lawsuit that was settled between CBS and Donald Trump. Donald Trump had sued 60 Minutes for $20 billion because of how they misled the public, Lee. They edited a video of Kamala Harris to push together words and say this. It's like doing this interview right now, Lee, and putting together completely something different. You'd say, John, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, I think they settle for $16 million, I think, something like that.
Yeah, but this $16 million, yeah, you're spot on. This is, I think, the accountability. I hate a litigious society, but you've got to have some sort of accountability here, Lee, when you're lying to the American people that this person is this person and this person is that person. It's so misleading that this is like what you'd see in North Korea.
Well, AI is in trouble. I mean, AI is troubling. Sorry. And so if I was a fake person, I'd go, so I love the president of the United States. Well, it's not what I meant to say. It's like, yeah, when people are watching it, I don't think they realize how swift AI can change an interview. And I am thrilled that the president won that particular suit because it was justice.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I see over Twitter, I think it was Rosie O'Donnell, which she's blocked me on Twitter, so she's no friend of mine. I really hope she's no friend of yours, Lee, because then we're going to have to cut this short, but just kidding. She goes out here. She had to move to Ireland, Lee, because she hates Donald Trump so darn much. She had to go to Ireland. She took a break from Donald Trump, wouldn't comment. Now she's full-fledged. She's speaking out. She's out here saying Donald Trump, and I want to ask you particularly about this because you've followed Donald Trump to many events that he's performed at, that Donald Trump couldn't fill up school gyms. Kamala Harris was packing out stadiums. She doesn't understand how Donald Trump won the 2024 election. She believes, Lee, the election was stolen.
Well, I wish she could have been to a rally or two. I mean, people don't. My shows are kind of mixed between soldiers, Democrats, Republicans, independents, people kind of like me for what I do because I'm not controversial. My personal choice is I'm a conservative Christian. But if I'd like to have Rosie just come to one of those rallies and see 200,000 people out there screaming for him. I was at Kid Rock show the other night in Arkansas, and they played God Bless USA to start the event, and a message from President Trump. There was 15,000 people screaming out there, having such a great time with a rapper, Kid Rock rapper. And I'm like, I'm standing in the wings after I performed for him. And I'm like, this is America. This is the populist vote. To send those people who don't like it. You want to go to Ireland? Go ahead. Go wherever. Go to South America. Fine. You can have a life down there. But if you're going to have your time here in the United States of America, you have to support the freedoms that we enjoy, and don't be negative about it.
Lee, before we wrap up, I got to ask you, because every time Donald Trump's abroad or every time he's with you, I watch and I see you perform. And I see you've been through a lot in your life. You have a career that's extremely noteworthy. You have a career that's all-star worthy. And like I said, the record speaks for itself. But every time I see you perform, I see you wrap up and you look at the president and you sort of have a look in your eye like, am I really alive? Am I here right now? Am I getting that right? Because I know I would feel that same way, and I don't have half the career or quarter of the career that you have.
It's surreal. Yes, and I perform for millions and millions of people, but performing for the head of our state, the president of the United States, is such a privilege, such a pleasure. I'm a simple farmer from California. I left home when I was 17 years old, had no idea what the future would hold. I spent 20 years in Nevada struggling for my career. When it finally hit, I thought, this is high cotton. And then I got to perform with the USO. That's how I met my wife, Kim. We've been married 33 years now. And it's an exciting time. I got two wonderful sons, both born in Nashville, Dalton and Parker. And I just can't tell you, I am so blessed. And when I look at the president, that's my look of gratitude. Thank you, Mr. President, for letting me sing for you. And my life is enriched because of it.
A country that's given opportunity to so many people. Lee Greenwood, the website is GodBlessTheUSABible.com, correct?
That's it. GodBlessUSABible.com or LeeGreenwood.com. Get this new patriotic version of the King James Holy Bible. Thank you.
You heard the man, folks. GodBlessTheUSABible.com. Lee Greenwood, you're a great American. God bless you. Godspeed and great health ahead, Lee. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, John. You're doing a great job.
Thanks to Lee Greenwood, folks, and thank you all for being with us today here on The Great America Show. We'll see you back here tomorrow for The Great America Show, where our quest for truth, justice, and the American way continues, folks. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as I did. It's an important time of the year for us Americans, and I felt the need, and I felt that it was very highly appropriate to bring Lee on, one of the greatest patriots this country has to afford. We'll see you back here tomorrow, folks. Until then, may God bless you, may God bless America, and may God bless the great Lou Dobbs. Have a great night, everybody.